When your digital product business takes off the ground and you see steady income coming in for over 2 years, you forget that how volatile this market can be, and you start expanding your expense categories. Well, this is what happened to me. As you all know, I started in 2017, so 5.5 years ago, almost 6 years ago. And if you are new, hi, welcome to my channel. I'm Memes and I talk all about my digital product business, creating digital products, making money online and business finance. And today's video, I thought it would be a chattier one, so I grabbed myself a cup of coffee and we are going to talk about my business expenses other than Etsy fees. I will mention Etsy fees, of course, because they are an expense. I would like to touch on a subject that I haven't seen anyone talk about, and that would be business expenses other than the Etsy fees, and how much do I have to make on a minimum every month to cover all of my expenses, and then what is left over, it will be my profit. As I mentioned it at the beginning of the video, my Etsy business was bringing in constant income at the beginning. I thought that this will stay like this all the time. Well, hint, it's not. And it's giving me quite a bit of anxiety to know that my expenses are the same every month and even going up. I will talk about my expenses in just a bit. I will give you an itemized list with numbers, how much do they cost. It's not a pleasant feeling when you don't see the sales coming in like they used to 6 months ago. I don't know what is happening. Maybe Rona just hit my store 2 years after it started, because when in the middle of 2020, when everyone was freaking out and everything was shutting down, I still had sales going. I had 1.5 months with less sales, but now I feel like I'm living the experience that other people did when everything was shut down 2 years ago. Keep an eye out for my September income report. You will see why my anxiety levels are rising. But yes, let's talk about my business expenses, I guess. I shared my business budget in YNAB before. I can put a few screenshots so you can see my expenses. The amounts that you see there are in Romanian money, so you have to divide everything by 5 and you will get the amount in US dollars or euros. Before I dive into my numbers outside of the Etsy fees, I would like to mention that every month I am paying Etsy close to $1,000 or €1,000 in Etsy fees each month. Now this is a lot. This number does not include the Etsy marketing. This is only Etsy fees. Processing fees, VAT, relisting fees, all the fees that Etsy has. It comes to about $1,000 or euros each month. Well, in these past 4 or 5 months at least, when I'm having a better month, it can go up to $1,500 or $700 each month. Etsy takes quite a big chunk of my sales, because I believe if I add everything up, it's about 10 or 12% of my total sales. And I still have to pay taxes on the amount, of course. I pay taxes every quarter, so you will not see those numbers in the screenshots because I have to schedule it every quarter, and it's not due at the moment. So Etsy fees about $1,000 each month. Then let's talk about the marketing costs. I do 2 kinds of paid marketing. The first one is on the Etsy platform, and there I spend $8 every day. Now, it used to be 10, but I saw a big decrease in the conversion rate, so I had to decrease my advertising budget on Etsy, and I don't see a big difference between the 8 and the 10. Well, I don't see a big difference in the results that the 8 versus the $10 daily budget brings me. So I will keep it at $8 a day. And those $2 that I just saved, I am spending now on Pinterest. Pinterest ads were paused for the summer, but now I restarted them. They came out with some new features and their ad system changed. So I deleted all of my old campaigns and I created new campaigns with new images. It was quite a big project for me to make everything. But now I'm spending $2 on Pinterest ads a day. So for marketing costs, that is $8 a day on Etsy, which is about $240 each month. and on Pinterest I spend $2 a day, and that is $60 a month. A total for marketing of $300. Then comes my most expensive category, and that would be my employees, myself, and my contractors. I am working with one designer who is paid hourly, and I also have another employee. And my maternity leave has ended after 2 years. I was on maternity leave for 2 years and everything was paid by the state. So it was very good, but now I have to go back on payroll. And this means that my expenses will be increasing. My expenses are as follows. Before I go back on payroll next month, I pay my employee and my contractor 1,200 euros or dollars each month. So that is the biggest chunk at the moment. And it will stay the biggest chunk in the future too, because after I go back on payroll, it will increase with about 800 euros. So my total costs with people, including myself, will be about 2,000 euros. I am paying myself minimum wage so that I can take out the dividends with less taxes at the end of the year or at the end of the quarter, depending on the situation, but I prefer to keep myself on minimum wage so that I can pay less taxes at the end. The next category would be the transportation category. 3 years ago I wanted a new car, well, a new to me car because I drive a used car. I thought that it would be a good idea to take out a car loan for the business. Well, it is not a huge monthly sum, but it adds up with my other expenses. So one of my goals is to pay off the car early. I still have 2 years because it's a 5-year loan, but I'm starting to consider to pay off the car loan next year. I still have 2 years to go. I will have to check the math, but I am playing with the idea of paying off the car early. So my car payment is $200 each month. It's not a very large sum, but as I mentioned, it adds up each month. And I still have to put gas and insurance on the car. Now I pay insurance once a year, and I have 2 types of insurance. The first one is the mandatory one, which one covers only the other person and not the repair of my car. But because I have the car loan, I had to get the full coverage, which means I have to pay about $1,000 each year for my car insurance. And I have a 5-year-old Mazda. And as you all know, gas in Europe costs much more than in the United States. And the full tank for me costs about $80, and it lasts me about a month. So I have to refill my car once a month. Then one of my key team members would be my accountant, and I pay her company $150 every month to do the accounting. And sometimes they have a difficult job with my company because the legislation for digital products is not that clear here in Romania. So they had to figure out a system to make everything legal, so I will not have problems in the future. Then one of the most important sections after the employees and my accountant, I feel, is my subscription and softwares category. All of my subscriptions at the moment are around $200 each month, and let's check them individually and I can tell you more about them. So by the first 2 subscriptions that you see here, you can figure out what my next project is. And I can tell you now, because it is coming up in a few weeks, I am creating a course teaching you how to create passive income with printables by selling them on Etsy. So yes, ConvertKit and Teachable are for that. I already created the subscription for Teachable, and that is $40 each month. ConvertKit is an email marketing software, and I will pay about $10 each month for that for now, because the more subscribers you have on your email list, the more you have to pay. So yes, if you would like to sign up for that course, I am doing the final touches on it, and I hope it will launch next month. There is a link down below in the description. You can leave your email address there and I will send an email when the gates are opening for that. So Nespresso is my coffee subscription. I will never part with it because it is a great value for me. So yes, I have 2 Canva Pro subscriptions, that's why, because I have to pay for my team members' subscriptions as well. I have Adobe Creative Cloud, that's about 300, so I have to correct that. Then I have a Gmail address that is linked to another website that I'm not really putting any energy into it, but I still have to pay $4 each month to maintain that account. I paid my hosting for the year in January. I didn't purchase any new software. I have Tailwind. I pay that in every January, but I'm thinking that I might cancel that, but I'm torn on this one, but I will think about it. And I have TubeBuddy that I also pay yearly. I use that for YouTube. And the last category would be some miscellaneous expenses like plane tickets, or if I have to buy some printing paper, or I have to buy some ink for the printer or stuff like that. This comes to about $50 each month. Now, for the grand total, if we add everything up, it comes to 2,200 euros each month in expenses. This means that I have to generate at least that amount in sales each month. Well, not in sales, but in Etsy profit each month to cover all of my expenses. If there is anything in profit after this, I have another account in which I created a mini emergency fund for my business. I have almost $4,000 in that. As you can see, with these expenses, that would cover everything for 2 months if, I don't know, if something would happen and if my Etsy shop would be closed. I really hope this will not happen. Never, never, never. This was an idea that came to me when Rona hit 2 years ago, and I started putting away $100, $50 every month, and it accumulated up to almost $4,000 now. But I planned to grow that account to cover 6 months of expenses for me. That account has to have almost $12,000 in it to cover everything for 6 months. That would give me peace of mind that I can work on new projects and I can create new streams of income into my business. And I have time. 6 months is relatively a lot of time. That's why I plan to create this emergency fund. And of course, if there is anything left over, that is profit for me, and I pay a 5% dividend tax on that. Now, starting January 2023, the government increased this tax percentage to 8%. So what I will do is that at the end of December, if I have any profit in my accounts, I will take that out and I will pay the 5% dividend tax, so that next year I will have to pay less tax on this year's dividends, if you know what I mean. Those would be my expenses in my business. I feel like it's quite a lot. These are my expenses. These are the points that I wanted to mention because I feel like no one else is talking about this. They are talking about revenue and big numbers, but they are not talking about how much they are spending on the back end. And as you know, these past few months were a little bit difficult for me because I didn't see the sales coming in. I saw the number of orders dropping, but I am still able to cover all of my expenses. Even if I go back on payroll, I will have less profit or I will not have any profit for a few months. And I hope that I can increase my income so that I can cover all of these expenses and have the peace of mind that everything is good. If you watched this far, thank you very much. I feel like this was a very rambly video, but I wanted to talk about these things. This way you know what are you getting into. It's not as glamorous as people say it on TikTok or on Instagram or YouTube. There is very hard work behind all of these shops. And these shops require expenses. It's not everything as pink as other people mention it. If you watched this far, please comment expenses so that I know that you stuck with me this far. Thank you very much again for watching. Please hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm, consider subscribing to my channel and hit the notification bell so you will never miss another video in which I talk about digital products, making money online and business finance. See you in the next one.